We got some very special guests, not on the phone, but live in studio here in Applebee's. And ladies and gentlemen, we encourage you to come down. We have the President's Cup trophy.
So here you can actually
Coleman.
You can maybe put some marinara sauce and dip some cheese sticks out of the cup if you want.
There we go.
Don't give Bama Zach any ideas on that one.
But I will say, do that at your own risk.
Yeah, at your own peril, because there's no telling
other things dip
what's
in
been at the bottom of that cup.
Drinks
right
and everything.
That's good. Thanks for clarifying that.
Back-to-back championships, dude.
Yeah.
Seemed like yesterday we're just getting started, and Coach DeTulio's trying to get all his players lined up, and the player, we're behind not the 8 ball, but behind the schedule a little bit.
This season went by faster than any of the seasons that I've
really
had. Yeah, it's been good, but it's like I said, Glenn has put together a team, and that last year they were that way. This year, same way. I mean, I know that we're going to talk to Max a little bit too, but I think it's just his dedication, and it reminds me. Like I said, I'm a Kentucky boy, so I think either like the Kentucky basketball teams that like Rick Pitino had, where the players were just in such great shape that you play the game, and then all of a sudden the third period would come along, and the other team's tired, and we're not.
Right.
I mean, and you would see that, and I know that's Glenn's mentality that probably they're in the best shape. And a lot of times, like in any sport that you have, I think Alabama does the same thing. Yeah. It's like they play football, then all of a sudden you see a kid like Damian Harris who's had been playing, but then all of a sudden he starts running the ball, and where the heck's he been?
Yeah.
Well, he's resting because they've got 7 of those guys. So it's like I think that has really been one of the things that has helped, and I really noticed it. I went back, I'm kind of out in the arena running around, but I went back into the locker room right at that second period with Birmingham, and Glenn and I are there, and I'm just talking, and I just said, I don't know a lot about hockey, but they look tired. And their goalie at Maverick Parks was, every time that he would get on the ice, he would be slow getting up, and I looked at Glenn. I said, they're tired. He goes, yeah. He goes, now we're just going to come in and just start punching. Yeah. And sure enough, they came in. And they came in. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but our goalie, Max Milosek, was not tired.
He was not tired. No.
He was like, don't sing it, bring it. You putting on the foil, boys, don't come toward me. I will take you down.
Max has that on-point mustache that just holds anybody in any game, anywhere.
There you go, Max. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. I would say I wasn't tired. I was probably a little bit tired there, but the adrenaline was kicking in and everything like that. But like you said, I think they're a little bit more tired than we were. I think we were just ready to win, and I think we kind of ran them out of gas.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the way it seemed to be. And as a goalie, I know it's a little different, obviously, because you're not going up and down the ice. But, man, to me, the concentration that it takes to play that position would be enough to be a physical, mental, just wear you out type deal.
I'm thinking the flexibility.
Well, that's true, too.
Because goalies, they're doing splits out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely have to have both of those to be able to play goalie. But I think, definitely the mental side of playing goalie is pretty tough there. You have to make sure that you're in there. One little mistake ends up in the back of your net, and you're the last guy. So it's pretty crazy.
It's so limited, right? I mean, the scores are 3-2, 1-0, 2-1. You know what I mean? It's not like a basketball game where you get several opportunities, and you're having to make sure that. And sometimes when you're watching the bloopers, right, on different sports bloopers, you'll always see that one soccer or hockey goalie where they get a little nonchalant with the puck or the ball, and next thing you know, the other team is knocked it in, or knocked it in yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, so for y'all to play that position, to me, that's always been the one, kind of like what Tom brought up too, the physicality of it as far as being flexible and being able to cover that goal. I don't think people understand how fast that puck is actually coming at you, and then you've got all these players in front of you. It just amazes me that y'all stop one, let alone 30 shots a game. So,
well, that's kind of what happened to the goalie with Knoxville. I mean, he got a little, I don't want to say lazy, but it looked like he wasn't quite paying attention as much as he should have, and Tyler sneaked one in on him.
Well, they, the thing I think with goalies, and I'll take up for Max, because I think they're almost like baseball pitchers. If you lose a game, it's the pitcher's fault.
Yeah, you're right.
Or if you lose a hockey game, it's the goalie's fault, and it's not. There's a lot of stuff with the game that people don't understand. That there's some defensemen that got to get in front of that goalie to help him out a little bit. And I think that's with Birmingham's situation is Maverick Parks is an amazing goalie. Max is a great goalie, but there was a lot of people in front of Maverick that weren't helping him that much, and Max was getting a little bit of help from our defensemen. But
it seemed like Saturday night Birmingham came out with a plan, because early on, Max, they took you out with that. You were trying to get the puck out of the end, and it's like they tripped you up, and then all of a sudden they get this roughing call on us too, trying to get that mental edge and trying to throw us off our game.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get to me earlier. I mean, I played with a couple of those guys in college too, and I think they try to. I get hot-headed a little bit, so I think they think that throws me off my game, but they didn't realize that it actually makes me play better. So it kind of didn't work out in their favor. But yeah, they were trying to run me a little bit, kind of throw me off. But like I said, this time of the year, you got to keep your head in as a goalie and make sure you're not doing anything dumb. And their plan didn't really work out too well for them. So.
And what helped out?
It was good.
And what helped out too, especially with not being tired. What was it? 3 games, Clay, that it went into overtime.
Yeah, three back to back, and then the one with Pensacola as well. So that was 4
crazy
that we had. I mean, I look at guys like Max and some of the Havok players. Max, you say you have a temper. I have a crazy temper when it comes like that. And anytime anybody would come by me and slap me with a stick, I would be out of the game, right?
It was
2x4 upside down.
I was going to say, I'd slap you right in the face with the end of my stick. I just couldn't handle it, man. But so good for you.
This team, and Max, I did get ready to say stuff to you on the ice, but I mean, just, the goalie situation is such a interesting one.
It is.
You had where – Delaverne comes in as he's the guy. Max comes in, joins our team. And then, goalies have days where they just have some streaks and things happen. And, Deli played a good season, but then Max kind of came in and took that driver's seat, and you kind of ran it all the way to the finish line.
Yeah, brought it home, man.
Deservingly of the MVP. But the thing that I look at is it's almost like Deli didn't really phase. Sometimes the goalies it can phase, but it didn't phase him. And I think it was definitely a full team effort that everybody did.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like how you're saying like that, how it kind of was like him in the beginning and then taking over. But it was, I think it was a good duel between both of us too. Like we knew that it was a friendly competition. We wanted to both get the net, and we obviously wanted to be the guy. But whoever was playing that night, if it was me or him, we were supporting each other throughout it, the whole way, and I think that's what made it so successful. Yeah. And it wasn't just me and him, it was the goalie's position, it was everyone on the team. We had guys that say they weren't playing one night, they're there to have each other's back and support each other, and I think that's why we did so well this year.
Just seemed like, too, adding Posa and Bowens right there towards the end of the season, those guys were just like quicker. They were just like Tyler, quick as a hiccup, and they were in there constantly battling. And to me, Max, when you got called up to ACL for like 3 games and you came back, it just seemed like it made you tougher. It made you stronger, and that's what helped push you, towards, helping out towards the end of the season.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was a good learning experience going up there and kind of seeing how it's all ran. And obviously, I can compare down here just exactly up to how it was up there. It was top-notch organization. Everything was run pretty good. And, I got a little bit of a chance there, but it was, like I said, we had a really tight-knit group here, and when I came back, I was pretty excited and wanted to do something special with them. So I was happy to be back and go on a run with it.
So did we already get to sign the contract for the next year?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, no, I don't know when the contracts are all signed, but I plan on coming back.
Cool, good stuff.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Well, Max, where are you from originally, and how do you like the Huntsville area?
I'm from Lapeer, Michigan, so I've never been really down south, so I didn't really know what to expect, and I love Huntsville. It's probably the biggest city I've ever been to. Cause I come from a little countryside city, area, so I'm pretty much out in the middle of the woods. So when I see all these big buildings and stuff, it's pretty cool. It's a different experience for me, but I've had an absolute blast living down here.
So if we try to get the visual radio experience, most people from Michigan always hold up their hand as the glove and point to where they're from. So if we're holding our hand up, at what point is Lapeer?
He's not a Youper, so he's part of the glove.
No, I'm on the lower part. Yeah, I'm on the glove part, and it's more so towards if you're holding up your right hand, looking at it towards like on your right palm, like a little bit up by like the thumb area.
There you go. There's the visual right there.
You got it down, bro.
Well, see, I'm from Kentucky, so I've had several friends that are from Grand Rapids and stuff, and they would always do that. So I kind of changed my own where I do Kentucky like this.
I'm from Indiana. I guess I can do the same. It's kind of long. Take the thumb out of the way, maybe.
I feel so bad because like through the whole season, the hockey players are so nice to me, but I'm introducing the teams, and I'm not only butchering Max's last name, but I'm also saying LaPierre. I'm like trying to make it. It's like, no, you've butchered where he's from. You've butchered his name.
Oh my God!
It's like, well, I apologize.
No, it's like it's all right. It's pretty much like 20 minutes east of Flint, Michigan. If anyone's listening knows where that is, and about an hour and a half north of Detroit.
So you like the water here better than
the water down here is probably cleaner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's not good. You got to stay away from it up there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was thinking about you coming from Michigan down here to Alabama, and we mentioned your last name. I know you've got all kind of pronunciations. Milosek, Milosek. My doctor got me on Milosek.
So for the record straight, let's say it correctly, Max.
My last name is Milosek.
Milosek.
There we go.
Wow, that did not even cross my mind.
That didn't cross my mind, brother.
They need to put the correct emphasis on the proper
but the most important pronunciation is MVP.
Absolutely, Clay. You're right.
Back-to-back champion.
And the city of Huntsville, I guarantee you, is fired up and appreciates you for getting that MVP. The whole team.
Max, how long you been playing hockey?
I started when I was 8. So someone asked me this the other day. So I think it's been pretty much 18 years. For my first year, I didn't play goalie. I was kind of forward and mix of goalie and forward. So goalie for 17 years.
Wow. Okay.
It's been a while.
Have you ever?
Happy I'm still playing.
Have you ever wished to be able to drop all the pads and be able to just get out there and skate and go up down the ice? Or
all the time. I love playing forward, but that's why like after practice, I'll be a few other guys who always mess around, and I grab a player stick and kind of have some fun with it, just to kind of keep it calm and not really think about goaltending too much sometimes. So it's fun, but obviously I think that's why I picked goalie, because I was probably a better goalie than I was a player.
I know most of the rules of hockey, but when do the guys know when to substitute? When the lines change.
Good question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess a lot of it goes through coach. So basically, like we don't. Well, for players, and then, obviously I'm different. He tells me when I'm playing, or if I have the game that night before, or whatever it is. But for players, when they're on the ice and the lines are changing or whatever, everything goes through coach. They say when to go out there. We don't pick that, but everyone on the team basically knows their job and what they have to do, and knows their role. Like, so some guys are, obviously, like, say Ryan Salkeld, he puts the puck in the net, so he knows his game, and he's, pretty offensive, so he likes to play in the offensive zone. So coach will put him out when we're out there in the, offensive face-off and stuff like that. But, when you got other guys that can play a defensive role, he's going to put them out for that. Or it all depends on if we're playing, say a team from Macon when they got, Trask on their team and John Seamer that can, put the puck in the net a lot. They're going to put someone out there that can defend pretty well and, get the puck out of the zone. And then, when their third line's out there, we're going to try to put our first line out there. And so basically sub those guys out or change the lines with them. And, so everything goes through coach, though. He tells everyone when to go out there.
Okay, Max, one more for me. It's Tomcat here. Delayed penalties. I don't know people who know the rules of the game, but when you've got a delayed penalty and the offense has the puck, as soon as the defense touches the puck, it's dead. So there's an opportunity there in the proper situation for the goalie to come off the ice and another attacker to come in to possibly catch the other team underhanded. So are you able to – does Coach are you watching the game to notice that? As soon as you see the delayed penalty sign come up, are you headed to the bench? Or how do
I think
tell me your mentality on that.
I guess, normally during the game I'm obviously paying attention to the puck at pretty much all times, just so they don't score on me. But it's I'm always watching and seeing if they're the refs are putting their arms up. So if I see the refs' arms up, and I got to make sure that that we have possession of it, because sometimes I've gone to the bench and I shouldn't have gone and they could have scored on a wide open net. But but I did that a couple times this year because I thought the call was all the way around. But basically, if I know it's good and another team has a penalty, I'm going to skate to the bench. But sometimes I don't see it, and then coach will yell at me from the bench or the players, and anyone that kind of sees it that's paying attention will yell. And for the most part, it's pretty much good. But I mean, probably half the time the other team's going to touch the puck by the time I even get to the bench. But I'm just trying to get there as fast as I can so we can get an extra guy out.
Okay.
I was always wondered if there was some kind of signal because it's so loud down there.
It's so fast.
Was there some kind of signal that the coaches got to say, "Hey, let's do it"?
From a goalie standpoint, how hard is it? Because I've been to games and just it would pop in my mind. Like, say that you didn't start the game, and for 2.5, quarters or periods, and then intermissions, you haven't been on the ice, and now all of a sudden, coach decides to make a change. You've had all this equipment on. It seems heavy, looks heavy. How tough is it? Because you've got to be ready to go, be able to move, do the splits to kick out. Because you don't really have but just a few seconds to kind of get out there and stretch your legs a little bit, right?
Yeah, no, it's if that is the case and you do go in after a period or from beginning, that's better. But like if say something happens in the game where your goalie partner gets hurt or he's not playing too well and you go in, it's pretty tough. It's if you're sitting there all stiff, you don't really get to move too much on the bench, so you got to get in, and that's stuff you got to kind of be prepared for before the game. But it's something that comes along with the game. It happens every once in a while, so it's just kind of go in there. Hopefully you can stop the first few pucks and then get your legs warm and
get your legs
go from there. But you're pretty much just thrown right into the fire when that stuff kind of happens. So
I've always wondered.
You're hoping that the team rallies around you and plays well and plays a little bit better. So.
Yeah, that was tough because a lot of times you're coming in a situation where it's not the best thing. It's usually we're down 4-0 and somebody gets hurt, that's fine. But most of the time it's like, okay, this guy stunk it up. Can you do any better?
You do any better?
Yeah. Tag, you're it.
Now, Max, I've always wondered what goes through a goalie's mind, especially on shootouts. When you got him just barreling in on you,
awesome.
He's zigzagging everywhere. How's your mentality going towards this guy? Are you looking him eye to eye, or are you just trying to watch the puck?
No, I guess it's pretty much it comes from experience. So we do a lot of shootouts in practice, just mess around or whatever, but it still helps. But it's some tendencies of some guys. So basically, I like shootouts because I've been successful in them throughout my career. But I would just say you're looking at what hand they are, you're looking at how much speed they're coming with, and kind of got to match their speed, and you don't want to give up too much net, and you kind of want to force them to, the one side is their backhand side, and hopefully they go there, and, you kind of want to make them make the move. Like, you don't want to be the first one to make a move because they'll put you the other way and score a goal. So you kind of got to wait them out, and it's tricky, some guys are really good. Like, you look at some guys in the NHL, like Patrick Kane, he scores, I would say, close to half of his shots because he's so good at them. So it depends on what player's coming down, but you pretty much it's the waiting game, and hopefully you can outweight the shooter. But it's tough. It's not easy.
Yeah. Well, one thing is that people don't realize with our stuff, we're a professional team, but we don't have the video crew and the video stuff to look at. So somebody's coming, Max. If he maybe saw a guy, like you said, played against some guys in college or know their tendencies, but it's a blind draw on some of this stuff.
That's true. What is there any? I'd like to know if there's any verbal exchanges after the shot is made.
Todd is a trash talker.
No, I'm just saying. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I was playing your position and I stopped it, I'd show him the puck. I'd show it to him.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
There's been a few exchanges here and there to some guys that don't like in the league, but. That all comes with part of the game.
Yeah, that's great.
Everyone's kind of saying stuff, but at the end of the day, everyone's pretty cool about it. So it's it kind of goes back and forth. It's pretty much everyone yelling at each other, chirping at each other. It's like a second language, so it's pretty expected.
I can't remember the teams, but I was just watching the playoffs here, and there was I guess one of the teams, you may have probably seen it, where the team scored on the goalie and the guy came in and patted the goalie on top of the head.
That was Carolina and the Islanders.
It was. I remember saying on
highlights.
So what would you do? If somebody scored on you and came and patted you on top of the head, like, that's okay, you'll be all right.
I probably freaked out a little bit. I'd have to hold it in, but they got the last laugh out of it because they swept them. And,
that's right.
That's true. Hands, I saw the guy came back and patted him on the head.
Yep.
I like that.
They waited it out. They were the better man about it.
Yeah.
That's hard to do, though. Hard to do.
Yeah.
When you think about the end game, you're looking at the very end.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true. That's true. But boy, in that
you
moment,
give me once, but I'll be back.
Yeah, in that moment.
And that's kind of what I feel. Our season, the whole season. There was times where it's a long season. You watch it. There was I think we had Max. You can tell me correctly, but I think we went it was like a 6 or 9 game where we went on a kind of a losing streak there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think it was 7.
7, yeah, 7. And you look at it, and everybody around here is so tied into. Alabama, Auburn. If Alabama or Auburn lost 7 games, it'd be
1 game.
Town would be shut down.
7 would be shut down.
But you could kind of see the guys get in there, and like I said, I was more confident than anything. I didn't want to talk to anybody else, but as I just watched this team, I was like, they're better than everybody.
Yeah.
It's one of these situations where you went in and you're like, we're better than Birmingham. We're better than Peoria. I mean, Peoria is one of those situations where 36 of their 56 games, they played the 2 worst teams in the league. Yeah. So it's like you look at that going, it's like, okay, they're going to go out
that
first.
record wasn't real.
Pensacola, I felt, was the best team, but we had kind of owned them through the season. Mm-hmm. So when everybody else was like, when Glenn made that pick to play them, it was like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? It's like, nope. I'd rather beat the best one right off the bat.
Get him out of the way.
And get him out of the way. Yeah. And then, Knoxville played tough, but I mean, Max, like I said again, correct me if I'm wrong. We were the ones that kind of kept them in the game, with maybe some mistakes or not, doing some stuff. But and then the finals, it was just Birmingham was just tired. I mean, I look at that; they were tired, and and then I felt I went down to the game Friday, and I don't know how you'd feel about this, Max, in our arena, but every video was about Maverick Parks, and I'm thinking the pressure this guy has. They're playing Top Gun videos, and every time he made a save, it was. And I'm like, if I was an athlete Maverick, and this much pressure was put on me, I would lose my mind. Like this would be. Yeah,
that's
very hard.
I don't know how he handles it, but they pretty much. I mean, for the most part, I mean, they had a good team, but he kept them in a lot of games this season. So I can see why they would do all that, but.
If I was the rest of the team, I'd be like going, okay, you lost it. I didn't. Yeah. So
did mine.
No, I think he just ran out of gas. I mean, he obviously still played well that series, but especially that second game back at home. He made some big saves quick. I think we could have went up like 3-0 right away. And he came up big. Parks did there. So it was a good series between us there, though. But I think, like you said, the whole 7-game losing streak, too, it was pretty much at that point we knew we were a good team, but we were just kind of holding our sticks too tight, and we sat down and had a meeting in the locker room and kind of just talked through everything we had to do and what we needed to fix. And I think we just we had more of a lighter mood after that. It was let's just go to the rink and have fun and see where this takes us, because we knew we had a team to make it there, and it was just a matter of producing. And then we got a couple of wins in there, and we went on that big streak, and I don't think we really stopped from that point on.
Well, I heard some people talk about that Sockeld came in at that point. And that was kind of the point where he came in and started, really scoring and taking over that role. Yeah, I think he kind of and let me know when he came in there and said what did he say when he came in?
Well, that was during that that skid there, and he basically just said that like we were all sitting there, and at one point I don't think we had any words left to say, because we didn't know what to do at that point, because when you're losing that much, it sucks. And he came in and was like, hey, like pretty much I haven't been the greatest here. I know other guys could say the same. He's like, we got the team here. We got a great group of guys, and I don't want that to change here. I don't want anyone getting traded, that kind of stuff. And he's like, let's just, let's get back to our game here. And we all kind of said 1 or 2 things that we need to improve on, and said that we're going to hold ourselves accountable. And he was the one that came up and stepped up big, and he showed that he started putting the puck in the net and doing better and playing better. And he showed that he could do that, so other guys, they got the confidence and said, hey, we can do this, and they started doing it, and it was, everyone was doing it at once, and that's when the team starts rolling. So that was a big step up from him, and, happy he did it.
Well, something I had not heard about until kind of late in the season, this season, was this white jersey curse. What's that was going around in the fan cave, so I don't know if that's... something that
I've like heard people talking about it, but I don't know what it's about.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think they won the title in the white jersey.
The key word was, as much as I love them, I said on a couple of different interviews and stuff that I've done, keyword fan cave.
Yeah.
There's an endearing term that they're crazy, but in a good way. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they were,
Well, and it also depends on how far into the night you're speaking in the fan cave.
Oh,
how many beers or beverages?
I went. It's so funny. The superstitions are over the top.
Yeah.
I went down. I was at Birmingham, and I was sitting in the fan section, and the lines for the bathrooms were so long in Birmingham. So I just said, well, I'm just going to go down to the locker room and use the bathroom.
Heck yeah.
Well, I go down to the locker room, use the bathroom. Birmingham comes out and scores 2 quick goals, and our owner's wife is like, you are not allowed to use the bathroom ever again. And I'm like,
I get that, though, because I'm superstitious in that way, so I probably would have scolded you, too.
Hold
it next time,
I believe in superstitions, but I don't think my pee has ever had that much power.
Well, and speaking of that, last game, Cheech Powers had trouble keeping a hold of his stick there at the first. I mean, every time he reached for it, it would just go out a little farther. It was like 3 or 4 times before he finally got a hold of it. And I told him at the thing Tuesday night, I said, all right, over the summertime, let's practice on keeping a hold of the stick. And he's like, yeah, it's like somebody just had a string and just kept pulling it from him.
That's great.
And I thought, oh, wow, is this the way the game is going to go? So,
Max, do you have any big superstitious things that you have to do, like a routine? Or
can you imagine? Come on, Dave.
Or can you even say, is it too superstitious to even say?
They could
it used to be that way. I used to be pretty bad with this stuff. So like, it was just too much and, mentally draining. So I still have my same stuff. Like, a lot of guys like to go, to East Sunny Street before at home games. So I go there and get a good meal with me. And then most of the time I like to take naps, but I kind of got away from that. But there's always a little routine I do before games. Like on the ice, I have to hit my post a certain way. And, if I don't do that, I feel like I'm going to get scored on. So it sucks at the same time, but it helps me get ready. So that's pretty much it. And then, before the games, it's I just go on the same schedule every time, or around the same time. So I do my stretching around the same time and, that kind of stuff, and get ready or get dressed at the same time.
Well, you want to keep your routine.
You dressed left to right? Are you one of those guys? You got to go left side, right side, or no?
No,
kind of.
What's left side, right side, just in case you want to know?
Yeah, I put my skate on left and then my right skate, but that's the only thing. Everything else is like my pads. Everything else, I just do whatever. But the skate, I have to have left first.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be flexible.
I don't know why.
There you go.
I just kind of do it, and that's it. But yeah, it's just some kind of thing I've done since I was, since I started when I was 8 years old. So I don't know. I think my dad maybe showed me that he does that, so I did it.
That's it. Yep.
There you go.
Well, you never mess with the streak, man. It's a winning streak. Never mess with the winning streak.
Well, man, we're proud of you, and
thank you,
and happy for you. Congratulations on the MVP. Congratulations even more on the trophy.
It was awesome. Yeah, I was just happy to win. The MVP was cherry on top, and I honestly, there's a few other guys that probably could have got that too. Dar had an unreal playoff series, Curling, Sharks. And points wise, and you got everyone else. That played pretty, really well too in some games. So I think it could have went to anyone.
Well, you're a big part of it,
yes,
so and it's pretty humble. But it is a team. It is a team award. And your guys know that, so I know they're happy for you.
So are you going back up to the Glove over the summertime, or are you staying around here?
I'm going to be kind of back and forth. I'm going to still be here for. Well, I'm actually heading out to Wisconsin next week to go to my college's alumni tournament and weekend, and see some guys I played college with, and then I got Sharky's getting married here soon, so I'm going to go to his wedding, and then I'll be back up in Michigan.
Good deal,
so
man.
Who you got in the finals? NHL.
I guess as of right now, I had Boston versus St. Louis in the finals, and I had Boston winning the Stanley Cup.
You sticking with it?
I'm sticking with Boston.
Yeah,
Boston's playing good.
I'm sticking with Boston, but the way the Hurricanes are playing, they look like they could do some damage.
So personally, are you a Red Wing guy? Who do you normally root for?
I'm actually a Penguins fan because when I was growing up, I liked Marc-Andre Fleury. He was my favorite goalie when I was in my teenager years or growing up. So it was always fun to watch him. So I kind of got to know the guys on that team and stuff like that. So I mean, deep down, I'm still a Wings fan, but I like the Penguins better because of him. Well, now that he's at Vegas, but
all right. Well, Max, it's been an awesome show, man. Thanks for joining us. We've run out of time. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. We ain't got to go home, but we got to get ourselves up out of here. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you next weekend.